What's up, guys? Nate Petrowski from Narrowway Homestead. I've got a video for you today. I'm going to go over some changes in my electrical system, and particularly with the solar power. I'm trying to save electric as much as I can and use alternate options, and I've ended up tying some portable power stations into the rest of my array. My solar power is pretty basic. I'll do a quick recap on it for those of you that aren't real familiar with it, but I've got solar panels. Each set of 3 is tied together in series and then paralleled together. I also have 3 facing west to catch the afternoon-evening sun so I can run a few things without ever having to tap into my battery bank. I've installed metal flashing in between my panels to help make this into a roof to keep it waterproof, and underneath of it is this rinky-dink shed. This whole shed is temporary. Everything is going to get redone here in probably less than a year. But all the panels are combined into a combiner box on breakers, and from there that goes to my charge controller. The charge controller is an MPPT charge controller. It converts the excess voltage into amps. From there it goes down to 16 golf cart batteries. It's set up in a 48 volt configuration. The charge controller is the brains of the operation. It knows exactly how much voltage to push to the batteries. It does the equalizing of the batteries, which is maintenance that's needed occasionally for lead acid batteries. And from the batteries, then we go to an inverter. This inverts the electric coming in from the 48 volts into a standard 120, or 240 actually. And from there, it feeds my panel box. From there, it's regular household electric. This inverter puts out 4,400 watts of power, 8,000 watt surge for a full second, I believe, which I don't use too often, but it is handy to have when refrigerators and other things kick on and have an initial surge load. It's important not to let the lead acid batteries get too low, otherwise it's harmful to them, so that inverter also allows charging the batteries through it. If you connect it to shore power, I particularly, in this case, connected to a generator because I don't actually have any electric service. I also have an electric monitoring device, and this tells me I'm bringing in, well, obviously it's changing, about 1,500 watts at the moment. Even though it says amps, I changed that to be watts. And it really just depends what the cloud cover is doing. Batteries are at 88%, and I've programmed the battery size and watt hours into this, so that's what it's actually going off of. Rather than just voltage, which a lot of different systems go off of just the voltage, but the voltage is inaccurate depending whether it's charging, how much is being used. You really have to stop charging and stop pulling anything on it for about a half hour in order to get an accurate battery level reading off of the voltage. Okay, now on to the changes. I really didn't change anything about this system. That's just the way it is. I did install a weather monitor. This is a basic weather monitor. It tells you wind speed and all kinds of different things about the temperature, but it does something extra. And what that is it can actually detect how much light is outside. As I drop the camera. I'm not editing it out, it's just going to be the way it is. Knowing how much sunlight there is very important to the next part of this. Back inside here, this is just my sub panel. It's fed from that other electrical panel. But down here you can see I have a couple generator disconnects. And basically the way I've wired these is when the switch is in the normal position, the power comes from the panel, goes here, and each one of these feeds a circuit inside the headquarters or living quarters, whatever I want to call it. That's basically just where I'm living until I build a house someday in the future. And so switching this, well, I have it off of the generator right now. I'm actually going to do it the other way. If I do it fast enough and there's nothing sensitive like computers connected, it doesn't matter, no power interruption. Now I'm no longer running off of this generator. They call these solar generators. You can connect solar panels to them. Really, it's a battery, inverter, all the electronics you need just wrapped up into a box. I've got 2 different brands here. I use both of them. As you can see right now, this one is currently charging. I have it set to charge at about 800-900 watts. I don't want to pull any more than that from my regular system. It simply charges off the AC. This, we're going to tie back to the weather station. Because that thing is able to tell me what kind of light is outside, you can see it's on. And it's currently sunny, or at least very bright. Not exactly sunny. When it's bright like that, it means I'm bringing in power. How much? It depends. If it's full sun, I'm bringing in quite a bit of power. So if I have excess power, I can run the charging for this. Once the power drops, or once the sunshine disappears, it gets dark outside, a cloud passes over the sun, it gets too dark, this will turn off because it's tied directly to that weather monitor. And that tells us to stop charging because I don't have excess power, and that will allow the batteries in the main system to keep receiving their charge, whatever little it may be. This all may seem confusing and way too elaborate, but it's extending my storage. Once those batteries are full out there, it usually doesn't take too long if we have a full sunny day. Then I have excess power that unless I'm running something, it just doesn't do anything. The charge controller has nowhere to put it, so it doesn't charge the batteries. However, if I'm pulling 800 watts over here because this thing is low, then it doesn't change anything with the batteries up there. It just brings in a little more power and pulls the exact amount it's needed for what I'm running. I've actually been using these fairly heavily the last few days because it's been quite cloudy, and rather than drop down the power I have in the golf cart batteries up there, I've just been using this. It allows those to last longer and means I don't have to run a generator nearly as often to charge them up because I'm not risking damaging my batteries because they haven't fallen down to about 50%. The cool thing is these are still portable, so if I'm not needing this current setup, I can take them somewhere, use them somewhere else. But for now, for the most part, it's just making sense to use this to expand my electric storage. The weather station I'm using is a Tempest weather station, and it allows the connectivity to an app called IFTTT. I don't know why they named it that. I'm sure it makes sense somewhere, but that allows the automations, and I think I get up to 2 automations for free using that app. And I can just connect everything together, connect the accounts together. Things can also be controlled by a smart device like Google or Alexa. I just have everything set up automated. And actually, it just got a little bit darker outside. Doesn't look a whole lot different than when I pointed out here earlier, but obviously that has detected that the brightness has dropped down. That means the power coming into my solar system up there is less. This is now off, and it kicked it off. If that cloud moves away from the sun, and the sun comes back out again, this whole thing will kick back on, start charging, but this way I'm not charging this while depleting up there, which would be the opposite of what I'm looking to do. The weather station measures the lighting in lux, and I have it set to at 60,000 lux, it kicks on the charger over here. And when it drops below 40,000, that's when it kicks it off. I don't have the 2 numbers too close together to keep it from cycling like repeatedly. I don't know how often it might cycle, but I don't want it to go crazy. Still playing with those numbers. That seems to be doing good. It's really not super sunny until we hit 60,000. I may up that, I may change that as time goes on, but so far it's working out pretty good. But that's my system. It's a little bit crazy, but it allows me to use equipment that I already have to expand my solar array, which again, I already have. So it was a way to tie these together. It really doesn't tie them together completely. Like none of this stuff runs the well pump or any of that, but the critical systems are directly on the main array. Just the power inside the living area here, where we may be cooking with electric or different things, can be powered by these. So I can come out here at any time, flip these switches. I don't have to do it real often. It just depends. If it's cloudy days, I kind of manage it a little bit. So this is kind of a way to micromanage my electric and automate it as much as possible. And the sun just came out, and this is starting to charge again. So it's pretty cool to see how that works, and it's not happening cycling some ridiculous amount of times. If you like this video and you like my long format videos, which I don't do very many of, let me know. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. The more interaction I see with these videos, the more I'll be like, oh, people actually like long format videos from me. Or, you know, if I don't see much, then I'll realize people can just handle me in a very short duration, and I should stick with short videos. So it's all up to you guys. Either way, appreciate you watching, and hopefully this was helpful, entertaining, or interesting to most of you.